Well, there's only one way to start this stream out before we click onto things, and that's to wish Ock Raven. In fact, happy spawn day to you. Happy spawn day to you. Happy spawn day, Ock Raven. Happy spawn day to you. Oh, dear me. Hello. Let's throw some music on. There you go. That's your gift from me to you. Right, what am I doing? Clicking this thing here. Hello.
Hi. We want to look.
Greetings.
Oh, Lee snagged the first today, did he? Oh, I see.
Thought I'd get one in.
Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, it's welcome in everyone. Episode 19 of Pariahs, Season 2. Oh. Absolutely, Druid, absolutely. That's, you don't want to see this. In fact, I'm about to say I can't even see shit at the minute. Talking about seeing things. Where's my glasses gone? There they are. Oh, there we go. Oh, but yeah. So no one saw a thing. No one heard a thing.
Make it a sound bite.
Yeah, welcome in. Episode 19. We're back after the absolute mammoth of a dungeon crawl over the last couple of sessions. So, I dare say, have I missed anything? Callie, thank you. 55-month sub, appreciate it. Rayvon, thank you for the gift of sub to walk. What was that, sorry?
Nothing.
No, go on, please.
I don't know what you're
insist.
talking about. I didn't say anything.
I insist.
No, I'm good.
Well,
Let's play some D&D.
Diesel tossing out a random sub and snagged Cletus. Oh, thank you. All right.
What the fuck?
Did you take that one back?
Cypher. What happened last fucking hell? What happened last week on Pariahs?
So it was after the clearing of the second room. Sort of clearing. There was that one thing in the well. Don't worry about that. Just throw a torch on it and it'll fuck off. We decided to move on, and Dorian in the lead charged right into a fucking pit. Right on his fucking ass, into a pungy pit, but gave no fucks. Climbed out, dusted himself off, and Garrett was like, let's not do that again, shall we? Let's just cover these traps over. Because that's some bullshit. Which allowed Dorian to charge into the next room, who weren't ready for us. They were not prepared. So as Dorian charged in to give everybody the bonky bonk, and arrows and spells and knives came flying into the room, and people started dying, and the master in the room was like, fuck, I better get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm out.
And Dorian was like, no. Get exploded, dickhead. And you and your abominations can hide at the back. Don't need none of that. But what did happen was, turns out there's another door to this place, and some of the chaff got in. But Reza was like, exploding arrows, go! Turns out exploding arrows work in a pinch. Fuck you right up, they will.
Yeah, especially against malnourished slum dwellers.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought?
Fuck them. Well, yeah, after clearing out that area, we had a little bit of a scooch around, and then down some more stairs, deep under the earth. And we managed to sneak up on our old best friend,
Dr. Joran van Ruysen of the
Yeah.
Doctorus Morbe. Morbus Doctore, even. Morbus... No, what the fuck?
Doctorus
Doctore. Smorbum. Oh,
Yeah.
Evil sorbet.
Evil sorbet. And maybe what they were cooking down there, who knows?
I mean, maybe, because there was vats filled with all sorts of stuff.
Oh, God damn it.
But we managed to sneak up on that bitch and his new prized creation, and we were like, nah, we're not about that life, sunshine. Fuck you and you big, stupid fucking monster. So we Rags, for the second time in half a dozen sessions, died.
Poor Rags. Stolen away in the night, experimented on, and basically implanted with one of the aberrant flesh creatures on his noggin and turned into a bodyguard for Joran van Ryzen.
Lucky bastard.
I mean, it's one way. There's no more suffering for him in Novostoya. He's perhaps is one of the lucky ones.
There you go. He's free of his mortal coil.
The
Be it
living
in the
will
fate.
envy the dead.
Yeah.
It was a happy ending after all.
Gone to a nice farm upstate.
So yeah, the team literally threw everything at them and was like, "Yeah, no, go fuck yourself." While Dorian was like, "I'm gonna go up this guy," and then Guard's like, "I'm just gonna cut his fucking head off." And then his boss was like, "Son of a bitch, really upset. I'm gonna call you names." And then I'm gonna abruptly fuck off and run away from something I know not.
So you didn't like the the abyssal kraken that's manifested in front of you all.
Look, if
great.
you're gonna be a petulant fucking child, and just turn up and call people names and fuck off like a toddler,
Mm-hmm.
I can't take you seriously as a demigod, right?
Should we get Francis to whip up a load of tempura and we'll have a big calamari?
Filthy bloated starfish.
Well, yeah, that pretty much sums up last session. The conclusion of scouring the evil sorbet gang out of Dirktown. Cutting the head off the snake. Blowing up the spawning pool of the aberrant parasites. And I believe we pretty much left just after the fight ended. So, with that said then, we'll pick things back up in the depths below the Doctore's base. So, having skirted through the various corpses scattered around, acquiring a few interesting trinkets, a small crystalline handheld item. In fact, what else did you all get?
Bling. I got bling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Literally
We. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, literally in my case, I got 2 rings.
Very much needed rings.
I got a broom.
Broom. A sort of, a sweeping broom.
And that I could fly on.
I got a cute little horsefly statuette. Just to remember the encounter by.
What can your horsefly statuette do?
Well, it can become a giant fly for up to 12 hours and can be ridden as a mount. So I think, chat, we've found a solution to having a seven-headed goose pull a carriage for us. We're going to fly instead. But yeah, that's for the future.
A carriage with a giant black fly.
Uh-huh.
It's yeah. It's gonna be
Its
good times.
We'll still
Name-
have backups.
Mm.
So.
Who
His
knows what's
name is-
brewing? Sorry, go on, Reza.
His name is Mortimer.
Mortimer.
We
I
call
like
him
it.
Morty for short.
What's this aberrant sensor there, Dorian?
Well, you'd never know it because the guy never got a chance to use it. But it turns out he had a weapon that is essentially like a flail, similar to what I would say like Skaven in fantasy have, with poisonous or somehow terrible things in them that radiate pestilence. And that is exactly what it is. It is a battle sensor loaded that leaks a poison cloud from the foul contents within. It has poison
Yeah,
associated with it. So it's a poison flail.
it's a flail with a piece of rotting flesh, forever, eternally rotting flesh in it. Where did this flesh comes from? Who knows? You can
Probably from the giant starfish.
You can probably hazard a guess, but yeah. Also, with that said, how's everyone? Ooh! I'm seeing a little bit of red and yellow on these tokens here, folks.
Sci-fi may or may not have had his face burnt off.
So then, let's get into it. With the various items now that you've pulled from the bodies of the dead, you all gather round in the center of the chamber. The sound of combat from Skarn, Casca, and Cordea having calmed down, turning from a quiet combat to that of screaming peasants crying for a way out to flee. There are numerous footsteps on stone just back towards the entrance of this chamber, but sound of fighting completely over. What do you all do?
Well, before the Filth Grazer showed up to monologue to us, Reza was going to go inspect the barrels and the chute that they were flinging the barrels down to see what that is. So I think she'll finish doing that, probably.
Okay. Whilst you're doing that then, roll me an investigation check, please, Reza. What's everyone else up to?
I'm going to have a nosy around to see what's stashed in this room.
Okay. Same from you, please, Garrett.
The barrels with stuff in them.
They are. There are a few barrels left. As you glance over them, they do seem to be oozing a viscous, foul-smelling, ooze-like liquid. You don't know exactly what it is, but it's not good. It's not good at all. And one of the contents of the barrels that was smashed by Rags when the combat first started also seems to be emanating this foul-smelling gunk on the floor beneath your feet.
Does it smell like it would explode if set on fire?
With a 7, not really. It's thick. It looks more like sludge, like filth, than flammable.
Okay.
Garrett. Scouting round the premises, there are a few crates scattered around. This seems to be not so much a storage area, but there are certain crates full of the expected alchemical fire and acid vials, along with, up near the crates, a small single wooden drawer, like a bedside table affair. In there, a tome, various scrolls and pieces of parchment that have been hastily stuffed in.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take all the paperwork and slide that in the bag of holding so we can peruse it at our leisure.
Mm-hmm. Next to the wooden bedside table that's acting as a makeshift filing cabinet, there would be a few provisions, pieces of food, a few cups, mugs, perhaps a keg or two of liquid, drinkable liquid. 15. One's most likely water, the other one... I would gonna say, with it being Van Ryzen and the contacts, the other one would be a keg of relatively decent quality ale.
That also will go in the bag of holding. With enough cup to... everyone has a drink.
So whilst you two are doing that and currently fertling around the interior, Vanya, Dorian, Cypher, anything you three are doing?
Vanya would be looking around as well for, maybe any books or things like that. But also, would she, in her experimental journals that she has read through, would anything kind of come to mind whenever she's looking at this sludge or things that it looks like that they've been experimenting on that would have been in there?
Roll me an insight. In fact, no, we'll go with a... D&D really needs like a lore test. Roll me a history check, please, Vanya. 22! Holy shit. Certain... In regards to experimentation, perhaps you may be aware, or at least just looking at the setup here, that it seems that the blood vial, or the giant barrel used to store blood, is piped into two other vile-smelling liquid barrels, which then goes into this empty barrel here. The acid seems to be mixed with what was once the spawning pool of the aberrant parasites, which is then also pumped to this last barrel. At a glance, and knowing your penchant for experimentation, it seems that the blood is being mixed with some chemicals, then pumped into a vat that then the parasites are also pumped into to feed on. So it seems that whatever this barrel here was the final product. And around... Say, go on.
Oh, good.
No.
Sorry, I was going to ask if there was any kind of bottles or vials or anything that they seem to be kind of pumping that in that would indicate maybe they're feeding that.
Yes, absolutely.
So that there's ingestion. Okay.
Yeah. You would see that there are crates of empty vials scattered around, and some of the vials have this reddish, almost brown liquid in. And again, with a 22, knowing that the conversation in the Bloodworks points to how Sandoval not buying blood and perhaps getting it from here, it seems that whatever Sandoval's been given is this final concoction of blood, chemicals, and aberrant parasitic juice.
Ew. She'll share that with the group.
Dorian's going to look over Van Ryzen and see if he has any documentation on him.
Yeah, he would on his person a few scraps of parchment tucked into one of the inside pockets of his coat.
Yeah, he is just gonna look at that, and he's basically looking because the one piece of all this that has not yet been like made clear is where the Sandoval that he had parading around is, and so we need to finish. You know, we're not quite done with this. So
roll me a perception check.
Perception.
That's good. With disadvantage as well. Holy shit.
Yeah, well, you hit me with contagion.
I did,
and
yeah.
I don't know how the spell's supposed to work, but I basically have disadvantage on all my skill checks. So.
This is only on the chosen one, which would be strength. It's infected strength that I hit you with, so it's just any strength-based checks that you're at disadvantage with.
Okay.
But even
16.
so, 16's great. 16's solid. As with your position next to Van Ryzen, going through the body, and you step back, look at the now half-emptied vat of bubbling acid. Bear in mind, half of it was blown out by Vanya's arcane explosion earlier, but popping up from the top of the remaining liquid are bones. Many bones. Roll me an insight check, quick.
Well, it stands to reason that Sandoval might have been dumped in the vat of acid.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I would think that they wouldn't want to give up their actual.
A vampire being dunked in a vat of acid would probably not die. Its flesh would boil and bubble away, and then over time begin to perhaps reconstitute, to then bubble and boil again.
Is there body parts in the remains of the acid on the ground?
From the explosion, yeah, there would be.
Dorian's gonna walk over to where all this is, and just look and see if these things are, if it looks like there might be some type of a creature that's recovering from having been in this acid tank.
Yeah. You would, as you pick up one of the bones, there would be the odd sign that flesh is at least attempting to grow back on certain parts. You would see the odd tendril poke out from the bone, trying to wrap around as muscle and sinew is reformed.
Are there heads?
There's everything from full skeletons. It doesn't seem to be just one body. There are, at a rough guess, 4, perhaps 5 skeletons and bodies dumped in this vat. Some of them has been scattered by the explosion, granted, but there's a few in there.
Well, Dorian's just thinking, at a guess that chances are if a vampire's going to reconstitute itself, it probably would be from the head or require the head.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to just start sifting and try to grab up the skulls he can find, or...
Okay. Just roll me a Constitution saving throw if you're sticking your hand in this remaining vat of acid to pull these body parts out.
Oh, are they still in the bubbling?
Yeah. Apart from the odd piece that's been scattered around, the vast majority of them are still in the bottom of this pool of acid in the remains of the vat. And you just
Cypher's
go on, Cypher.
Cypher's got to come over and try to help me. Be like, what are you doing?
It's they're making vampire stew, it looks like.
Wait, there's a vampire now? Which one?
Take your pick. I can't tell which, but might be good. There's a good chance that the Sandoval's that we're looking for might be in this.
Nice.
Vampires.
Pet vampire. And he casts helpful shade and starts collecting heads.
Do we want to see what they'll do under Elias's care?
Well, I think we'll probably end up turning them over to the Countess, won't we?
Right
Probably.
now, we're the only ones who know they're here right now.
And if we want to undo the Sandoval house, and these are Sandovals, we'll need to take care of that.
Fall guy. Scapegoat.
Oh yes, no, I know.
Chances are they'll tie them to a post to make them meet the sun in their courtyard.
As the skulls are being pulled out, can Reza take a look at them and see if they have the vampiric canines?
They would, without yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah,
All
okay.
of them. As the helpful shade begins to lift these skulls out of the gloop, as the acid begins to drop, yeah, each and every one would have the serrated teeth of being maybe not true-born vampires, but certainly vampire spawn.
Huh. That's interesting.
They're probably not anybody important.
Maybe not. But if they are, the Countess will want them to unmake the Sandovals. Also, we probably don't want to be here much longer before fireballs and everything else start raining down on this place.
That's a good point.
So Vanya's going to hear that and hurry up, and she's going to carefully, not using her hands, try to find something to take a sample in one of the vials of that vat that has the mixture, and then also take a sample from Rags.
Okay.
And then and investigate Rags to see if Rags would have any kind of like similarity to vampire type structure, just to see if like it was used as like an experimentation on him.
So, roll me a medicine check, please, Vanya. Just spend a few moments just, again, scooping up some of the thickened goop from the bottom of the empty vat, stick it in a vial, head over to Rags and begin to carve away at some of the flesh there. And what sort of process would you go with? How would you analyze this? How would you analyze the flesh to see whether or not it's tainted?
Well, I would think that she has some experience with this, with blowing people up and on accident, with her various experiments that she has done before. But she would take kind of like a knife and just ever so gently like fillet and pull things back and kind of like set it aside to see if it acts differently, like away from maybe its host body, or also kind of like putting some of the blood or the ooze from to the side just to see how it reacts. And then also would take that vial that she had and maybe test it by like with just a little bit of the skin or a little bit of the blood by putting some of the droplets on it to see what would happen.
You go through.
But it should be very careful.
Yeah, of course. You. I'm going to be careful, Solution. Don't punish me. No,
Exactly.
You're fine.
You have the fear in me.
Yeah. It seems that the concoction doesn't react with much else. Going over the vial that you've collected from the bottom of the barrel and then studying what happens with Rags and the flesh that you've extracted from there, it seems to be that perhaps whatever was attached to Rags was the mutated aberrant parasite. And whatever that had in it, coupled with whatever Rags was, allowed it to swell and grow and contort into this monstrous creature it is now. So it's not so much that they were truly experimenting on making him this giant mutant. It seems more of a, in regards to Joran van Ryzen, a happy little accident.
I knew you were going to say that.
The fact that a parasite had found such a compatible host allowed it to swell and contort Rags into this monstrosity he had become. So yeah, not something that could easily be reproduced. Unless, of course, you found, what Rags was, and whether or not there are more things like him, because it would be at this moment you realise that he is not... The best way for you to imagine it, Vanya, would be perhaps almost like a flesh golem, a mixture of creatures, the genetics spliced into something slightly different. There are hints of Goliath there, but there's also other unknown creatures involved.
With that, would she know that that there are more like that out there?
There's certainly a possibility. There's no end of rogue mage covens out there who dabble in splicing creatures together. Hell, you wiped out a group who did very similar not long back. The Outcasts.
All right. Well, she's going to gather up her samples, and as they're rushing to get out of there all together, she'll relay that information to them.
There is a quick call from the back as you hear Dame Cordeia just pop round the corner, look at the vats, and is everything all right up here? We've cleared all of the remainders from below. They've turned and fled, so she catches a glimpse of Rags and, oh, by the court, what is that?
Dead.
Cordeia steps up to the group, sword limply at her side as she just shakes it to get rid of some of the excess blood and glances around at the giant mutant and then back towards Joran van Ryzen. The architect of all of this?
Seems he was taking orders from a giant starfish. So, here, yes.
She takes a handkerchief from her pocket and holds it over her nose and mouth. Well, this place is incredibly repugnant, so... anything you require Casca or the Dragonborn to do up here, or can we finally leave this accursed place?
Before we leave, I'd like to put this whole place to the torch.
She just looks
We wouldn't
towards
want
you, Garrett, and
anything
nods.
slithering out.
Reza's been waiting for Garrett to say that, so she just like starts using prestidigitation to start setting fires.
Reza, we've got better things than that.
Yes, Reza. How do you set fire to stone?
Well, like the wood beams and stuff, and the ladders,
This
and
is
the barrels.
this is basically the Undercity. They're the only pieces of wood that have been brought in are just small pieces from above ground.
Okay, then I'll say she looks around for something to set on fire, and she just gets this pouty look on her face, like.
I pull up a box, open it, and there's 88 alchemical fires inside said box. This will burn everywhere.
I had a DM regarding what he found, and the question was, is there any alchemical fire here? Yes. Make me a roll. And the roll was 88 bottles of alchemical fire.
88 bottles of fire on a wall, 88 bottles of fire. You take one down, pass it around. Now everything's on fire.
So there you are,
I
Reza.
suggest,
Sorry, go on, Garrett.
I suggest we throw quite a few down that hole to start with. And
I was just like, me first. May I throw one? May I?
you do the hole, and I will, and then get out as quick as possible, because this might well be a job for the wings. And I flop my wings out.
So Reza's gonna go right up to the edge and like throw the alchemical fire down and like lean over for a few seconds to see what it does.
How many are you throwing down there, Reza? That's the question.
I'm leaving.
Just one.
Just one. Okay.
But she's got a second one in case that one isn't fiery enough. Like one in each hand.
Yeah. You throw the first vial of alchemical fire down, and you just see the glass vial just fade into the darkness. You wait, paused. Then
I throw the second one.
okay.
Shit.
You throw the second one down. And just after you release grasp on the second one, you see a flash far, far below. As fire begins to roar its way up this tunnel. It catches the second bottle that's now in free flow. Or free fall, sorry. And then even more fire just begins to boil, burst, and coalesce as...
Run! Run!
As in this tight confines, all of a sudden, from the entrance of the chamber, just this roar, this gout of flame just bursts out. Shockwave ripples out. It's not enough to blow the entire place apart by any means, but with fire contained in such a tight area, there would certainly be a shockwave. Garrett, Reza, I need you both to make me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, no.
Garrett's fine. Shockwave washes over you, but you manage to keep your foot in. You, Reza, with your back turned as you begin to run. Go on.
Where is it? Where? Oh, I don't have enough fury for unearthly reflexes. Okay, go for it.
The shockwave bursts out first from this tunnel, hitting you in the back and sending you flying 10 feet forwards before you hit the ground ahead. You roll a couple of times, dust yourself off. But, yeah, there's just now, as the dust begins to slowly settle, a orange glow from the tunnel at the far end of the room.
And she just stands up, brushes herself, and is like, that was so much fun!
You look back and you see Garrett with his wings round him, like Batfink. And then he stands up, unwraps, takes a couple of flaps just to get him like 5 foot off the floor. And then he starts throwing alchemical fire. Here.
Yeah.
Here. Moving back. Here.
It's just for the sake of it. Let me grab some fire.
The blood in the fucking ooze. There's fire gonna go everywhere.
Yeah. All right. Let's make this a little... what am I doing? I should have probably sorted this beforehand because it always comes down to fire.
Let's say we're
universal
one
bouncer.
only. Yeah.
Alright. So, you begin to throw the alchemical fire around. The acid begins to burn. The vile sludge in the two vats begins to boil, to burst, sputter. The blood also now, just this giant vat of boiling, flaming blood. And it will be at this point where, from deep underground, the floor begins to shake and shudder ever so slightly, and a muffled boom, boom, boom begins to echo up from the far end of the room where that well chamber was. Corday looks. What's is that time to?
That's our invitation to leave as quick as possible.
Right. Okay. Casca. And Corday grabs hold of Casca's mane, hoists herself up onto the back of Casca. Casca just grunts. You see, as you're beginning to make your way past Casca and Scarn, that both of them are also covered in not deep wounds, but lots of wounds. Small cuts here and there. And there's patches of Casca's fur that's blooded. There's scarns from beneath some of the scales. Also seems to be bleeding. He's like, I smell fire, and you did not call for me. I wish to go back and add my own.
Scan. Make the
Yes.
staircase go away.
Staircase. Very well. With that, and you making your way back, Skarn will begin to take a deep inhale of breath. The rest of you depart to the sound of Skarn roaring, the dragon breath just burning away at whatever wood and scraps holding up the stairwell to the Doctores lab. Corinis, thank you for that prime sub. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. So with that, you begin to make your way back through the corridor, stepping over the hundreds of bodies, some decapitated, some carved in half, others limbs missing from the sheer blows of Skarn and Casca. You'll then get to a section where the bodies seem to be much more intact. Single stab wounds to either the throat, the head, the heart, eyes missing. Then back to another bloodbath of carved up limbs. And with this, you begin to wind your way back through the Doctores chambers.
And we'll probably exit through the barn.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's that nice, easy way out.
Yep.
At the top of the stairs.
One thing I will say with that then is that you did notice the pipe work from the vats did lead back towards a small room near the top of that stairwell you came down. And then that went upwards. And it's now, as you get back into that and head towards the granary entrance in the Doctores lair, that you would see some of the pipes on the walls that leads up into the granary, the barn building.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Yeah. You step. Go on. If you've got something further you wish to add.
No.
All
No,
right.
'cause I need to have a quick look in the granary.
Making your way up the stairwell, you open a trapdoor that leads directly into the large, disused granary. Here, several beds line the outside, and in the center of the room are the pipes that lead into the barn. This was where, Garrett, you saw the other Doctore aligned, jacked in previously. But it's quiet. Apart from the voices in the distance outside, voices of the slum dwellers. Confusion, fear, a little bit, seems to be almost palpable in the air, with it, people now starting to come round back to reality after the parasitic, aberrant creatures that were controlling them, or their thoughts at least, have died. Some have died, but the hive mind, for definite, has been severed. Into the barn, though. Garrett, I imagine you're going to be looking under that linen tarp.
You know that tarpaulin's coming off. I
Yeah.
need to know what's under there.
Yeah. Stepping into the barn, you head towards the corner where a linen throw's been put over a brass implement. Ripping off the linen, you see this to be certainly reminiscent of some of the apparatus you saw in the Bloodworks. It's a large circular brass, or like a brass sphere that has multitude of pipes that come off of it and hoses that leads to the various beds where blood is extracted. On the other end of the sphere is a finely gilded wooden box, and taking a quick peek inside, you see that there is some form of motor, almost like a automatic pump. A small crystal powers it. A familiar crystal, a blue crystal, but this crystal seems to power two small motors that act as a pump on this extraction device. At the moment, lies dormant, but it doesn't take a genius to work out that this is, in a nutshell, certainly one of the devices that would pump blood out of someone or something, and it's probably what's used in the Bloodworks.
Sorry, the mouthful of pretzels. Dame Cordair, is this familiar to you?
Dame Cordair turns to look as she exits the granary into the barn. What on... Why? Who... yes, Garrett, yes, that's one of the extraction devices from the Bloodworks. What on earth is it doing here?
They were using that on the population for the whatever reason they needed vast quantities of blood for.
I will have to do some digging into this. Sugar. Is there any way we can remove this and take it with us? I would rather this not remain here. These are old pieces of equipment that are, for want of a better word, very difficult to replace should we lose them. Which makes it even more questionable as why haven't I been notified that one was missing?
Yes. We thought as much when we came here before, which prompts me to send you the original message. Skarn, give me a hand with this.
Hand! I have two. Where do you wish them?
We need to get this box out of here. Let me just disconnect these pipes. And I quickly
Don't worry.
disconnect the pipes.
I can disconnect.
Gently, Skarn. Delicate equipment in the box.
Reza,
Go on, Reza.
Reza is going to pull out her ring of chains and going to use the attach feature, and 2 chains will attach themselves to the crate so that they can pull or lift it more easily.
Alright.
working together. Garrett and Scarn, quite strong.
Absolutely, and that was Scarn rolling a 5 on the D20. So, as he begins to reach down and pull up this brass sphere with the box at the end, there is a whistling along the pipes. Some of the compressed air inside this sphere is immediately released, and all of these pipes that seem to lead to the beds and back into the barge begin to snake around the room for a moment. Sorry, not a little too quick, huh? Cypher, make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Dexterity, yeah.
Dexterity saving throw, please. All right, you managed just at the last minute to avoid being slapped in the face by one of these rubber pipes.
Careful, Scarn. Nearly lost my face. And he turns around and goes, haha.
Scar looks at your face, which is already half missing. He leans forward just a bit, squints. Cypher, I wish to tell you. He leans even closer. Cypher, you are missing your face.
It's because it's not fireproof, Scarn.
We can work on that.
We can.
I have fire. When you have face, we practice. He'll lean back, offer this giant shit-eating grin, at least from what he can with the giant chops. That was a joke. So, brass ball, let us move. He hoists it over one shoulder. Because it's a relatively large bit of equipment, easily 3 to 4 feet in length. The brass sphere itself, probably 2 foot or so in diameter. So it's a pretty hefty bit of ancient tech. But Scarn, being Scarn, just hoists it up as if it was nothing, slams it on his shoulder carefully, and then just nods towards you, Garrett.
You never cease to amaze me.
That is because I am amazing. Behold. He flexes for a moment.
Oh, God. Right, come on. We need to get out of here before the fireworks begin.
Yes, Cordair nods, looks up towards the eastern side of the district and nods slowly. Yes, oh, did it not work? God damn it, I forgot to put it on.
There we go.
Cheers, Durs, I appreciate it. Alright, so, with that said, though, Cordair would turn around and be like, yes, we certainly do need to depart as soon as we can. I imagine that within the next hour, perhaps 2 at the most, things will certainly start getting a little more lively around here.
Okay, we're going to make our way to the gates. Dorian and Casca, if you could take the lead and look menacing enough to make anyone run away. I will fly above and try and direct us away from the crowds and move at all best speed.
Casca will nod for a moment.
Very well, I shall make sure that none of them get in our way, so... Dorian,
turn towards you, Dorian, and offer a nod, drawing the great sword. Where do we go?
Straight back to the gate we entered through.
The bridge to Polter District.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Vanya, Reza, anything else you wish to add to this on either now or on the way back?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Vanya's good. She's just going to make sure that she has out her transmuter stone so that she's moving as quickly as possible.
Excellent. Dorian, with you taking the lead, there would be a few times where groups would try and cut off your advance, not through intimidation or through being from wanting anything, but just the confusion spread now along the streets of Dirktown, coupled with fear of the unknown, of what's just happened. Some seem to be missing memories of the last hours, days, perhaps. Give me a little scene of moving one of the groups, one of the crowds ahead.
Well, the approaching one of the junctions where the alleys open up just a little bit. There are people wandering about, wailing and mourning because they don't know what's gone on. There are bodies everywhere of people who just collapsed and didn't get back up, and the ones that are, even before that, their lives were pretty much misery in Dirktown. And approaching, Dorian is walking in front next to Casca, and he's has the flail that he took off of Van Rice, and he's just spinning it and kind of getting a feel for it because, well, that's you gotta
New toy, need to learn how it works.
And approaching as the first people are reaching out or trying to kind of like just grasp your hands because they're just in misery and they're confused. Dorian is fully aware that these people are probably going to die very shortly after this. So his go-to method here is just sheer brutality to set an example and drive everybody else away. So he just starts swinging the flail basically through people who try to block the path. And seeing that people, even in their stupor state, just begin running away, and so they stay far enough away, or the ones that aren't in that first contact, they stay far enough away, or they scramble or stumble to the walls and just hold on for dear life, afraid that they're going to be cut down for just existing in the space as everyone passes through.
Amazing. The screams rise even more as people flee from your presence. Even as you make your way further south towards the bridge into Polter District's, word of the savagery has been spread there, so people press themselves against the walls, dive into alleys, beneath awnings, into decrepit buildings, just to get out of the way of the group, and you all make good timing. You reach the bridge over the canal from Dirktown to Polter District. A few gangs, at least on the Polter side, have been stopping a few of the individuals from making their way from Dirktown into the safe part of Polter, but they see you, they step aside, offer a single nod of acknowledgement towards you all, almost respect, as by extension these are your people. Casca, Dame Cordair, Skarn with the giant bloodwork equipment over the shoulder, stride on over, and now back in the safety, the cleaner part of town. Welcome back to the Polter District.
The slightly less shitty part of town.
The slightly less shitty part of town, yes. Yes. So, before we go any further, shall we call a quick break there to refill our drinks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Certainly.
Yeah. Yeah. It will also give me a brief moment to say... Rayvon, thank you for the 100 bitties. I appreciate it. And then Druid came in with not one, but 2 donations of 510 for a grand total, if I can do maths, 1,020. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Corinis, once again, thank you for the Prime sub. It is appreciated. Doctoria dead. Huzzah! Let's see what's about to come in a moment, shall we? Also, Chaos with Honey Badger. You're not too late. You're not too late. What? We're only an hour in. All right, I'm gonna refill. I'll be right back, everyone. I have returned.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome back.
What did you miss? Yeah, not a great amount. Just the looting of the tomb, or no, the chamber. Fire, lots of fire, and getting out. Yeah. Mucho RPO. Okay. With us now back in the Polter District. Oh. What's the plan, folks?
To find a nice vantage point, torch the fireworks room.
Yes. Which would probably be...
Shall we bring up the map of the city?
Probably
Yeah.
atop the Sapphire Gate, if I had, or from one of these watchtowers here.
So at this moment in time, you guys are here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Having crossed the bridge from Dirktown slums into the Polter District, you're now roughly around this area. The main bridge over the canal from Polter.
Is that a drawbridge?
It would be, but it's old, ancient. There's no wardens to raise or lower it anymore, so it's... At one point, yes, it would have been a drawbridge. Nowadays, not so much.
Okay.
It needs
But
some TLC.
okay, can we get on top of the gatehouse? Can we?
I would say so, yeah. Yeah. That's where you want to be. You tell me what you're doing.
It's a good vantage point to watch it, right?
And collect souls.
What?
What?
Don't know what you're insinuating.
So my question would be, are these gatehouses as tall as the city walls? Like, are they all pretty much uniform?
No. The city walls would be above by probably 20, 30 feet above the towers outside the city. Yeah, the city walls themselves are immense. Granted, from the gatehouse on the bridge over from Polter to Dirktown, you would still be able to see all of Dirktown towards the coast.
Well,
It's
we
only
should
two.
do then. And Dorian's going to look to see what needs to be done basically to get up on top of this. Like if there's a side door or if it's sealed off or anything.
Looks like there's a roof hatch, right?
I mean, these things are old. Any access, any doors there would have been ripped off. The stairs probably stripped out for building materials in the past. You know, these are not functioning military installations at this point. They would be dilapidated, half ruined. So it's not to say you can't get up, but you wouldn't just be able to stroll up the stairs and poke on top.
Reza is going to scamper up onto the top and secure a rope and drop it down for people to navigate to the top, for those who can't fly.
Did you say that is this connected to the bridge? Did you say that it wasn't connected to the bridge?
Yeah. It's imagine. So the way these things look is imagine a stone tower with a big archway in the center that allows you onto the bridge, onto the drawbridge. And on the other side in Dirktown, there would be the same, but because these things have not been maintained in tens, hundreds of years, they are dilapidated. Which is, we never really needed to expand on it in the past, but that's we have now. So this bridge from Dirktown to Polter is an old drawbridge.
Vanya is, since it looks rickety, is not going to get up on that, but rather just get out her broom and get on her broom.
On the flying broom, you levitate in the air, Vanya. Perfect vantage point. You can see whatever you want to see. But for that, Skarn will try and climb.
Help me.
I threw
So-
a rope down.
Cypher don't have upper body strength. What are you fucking talking about?
Vanya will
Skarn.
lower down and let him get on her broom.
Oh.
Cypher will give you a big hug with his wet face on your clothes.
She won't notice that he's messing it up because he's like from behind.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bloody skull print on her back.
Yeah, Casca will climb. Casca's a werewolf, easily just scales the walls. Even Cordea, who's a vampire, same again. She just quickly scales the walls. Skarn, with he looks at the bloodwork apparatus on his arm, looks at the rope, looks up towards Reza.
I'll take it, Skarn.
Skarn looks towards you, Garrett.
Okay, there.
And he
Garrett like, puts it under one arm.
Scarn tilts his head, looks at you, looks at the thing.
Ah, yes, gloves, I see. Why have I been carrying this all the way?
Because you look magnificent doing it.
Yes, I do.
With that, he will, using his clawed, taloned feet and the one claw, he'll have one hand on the rope, but he'll begin to make his way up, which leaves basically just Dorian left to get up.
Yeah. Dorian is looking over. It's going to be interesting, but he's going to try to use the rope that Reza tossed down.
It would hold your weight, just. It'd start fraying towards the top and creaking, but you'd get there.
She's got the ring of chains ready to grab somebody if they start falling.
But yeah, I'm not gonna throw anyone to the ground. I'm not that spiteful. You've worked hard. I've got to give you a show. So yeah, you all make it into your various elevated vantage points. Garrett, are you flapping? Are you Batmaning?
Of course I'm flying. Couple of beats of my fleshy wings. I land gracefully on top. Just put the box down. And before I get comfortable, I reach into my bag of holding and pull out a small keg and some cups. Jam a dagger in and pop the lid off. And a smell of rich, expensive ale comes out. Everyone looks thirsty. Help yourselves. And I put some cups out. And then pull out 2 bottles of Class A blood and pass it to the vampires.
Nom, 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 nom. Coda's like, thank you very much. Don't mind if I do.
Well, everyone's put a shift in. So I dare say everyone's a bit parched.
Anything anyone else wishes to do before the show begins?
Cypher just finds like the crenellations on top. She kind of plonks his arse down, crosses his legs, and just sits, ready for the show.
Okay.
Dorian's going to grab one of those cups and dunk it in. Go over to one of the corners of this rooftop and just kind of lean against it, put his arm up, and just wait for everything just to kick off.
Reza is getting proper comfortable. She's pulled off her boots and just like stretching her feet, and just like has spread a cloak out on the top of the roof, and is just kind of like laying there waiting for the sound to start, and then she'll get up and go look at what's going on. But she's like leisurely, like this is beach picnic time for her. Like she's just chilling.
Vanya, Cypher, are you two staying airborne on the broom to watch?
No, I'm sat on the edge of
you're on the
one of the
yeah.
crenellations. Yeah.
Vanya's still staying airborne, just in case if she needs to get out of there because of the rickety. Yeah.
Okay. So, with that, everyone drinking. Skarn would no doubt take the keg when it's half empty, and that's now his mug. as he sits down on the ground watching across the canal into Dirktown.
Oh, I've got one last thing to ask
go
before
on.
we get going.
Go on.
So, Skarn, who won?
Ah, that would be I. I won.
You just hear this snarl from Casca as...
No, you will find that you were too short, dragon. Last two at the end. Therefore I won. They were already dead. You cannot kill things that are already dead. They do not count, dog.
Actually, point of order, you can kill things that are already dead.
That's how I know you're dead.
Casca shoots Skarn a bit of a snarl, a grin, and then sticks their tongue out at the dragon. Skarn turns away, huffing, folds his arms, turns towards you, Garrett.
Casca won. By 2.
But you're still my champion. And we would not have achieved anything without the two of you holding back the horde.
Cordeia just raises the blood in the air that she's drinking as she looks over her shoulder towards you, Garrett. Here. Well, it's not very often that you get to go against that many, but... Well, a job well done.
Job done, indeed.
Skarn nods as he takes a giant swig from the keg. Really, Main, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Welcome in. Oh, so with this then, and the party now sitting on this tower overwatching Dirktown. An hour passes. And in the distance, the sound of a low rumble begins to grow louder. Again, this is over the space of an hour. Oh boy, here we go. To the eastern side of Dirktown, the Sapphire Gate looms high and impenetrable, a dividing wall that separates West Commons from the rotting carcass of Dirktown. Tonight, the gate moves, groaning and shrieking as its massive doors drag open for the first time in perhaps years. The sound echoes through the air like a death knell, a signal to all who hear it that judgment is at hand. From across the canal in the safety of Polter District, you all watch as Dirktown dies. The army of the Crimson Court begins to move like a red tide, surging into Dirktown with cold precision. On the narrow, crumbling streets, over 1,000 wardens march in tight, disciplined ranks, their polished steel reflecting the cold, methodical precision of the force they represent. Their boots strike the ground in perfect unison, a heartbeat of destruction that grows louder and louder as they march. Every step they take is inevitable, calculated. There is no resistance in their way that cannot be crushed beneath their boots. Behind them, the true harbingers of destruction stride forward, the mages of the Sanguine Academy, approximately 300 in number, each one skilled in the arcane arts, wielding it with the precision of a scalpel and the devastation of a sledgehammer. Their faces calm, their steps deliberate, their hands already flickering with the faint glow of conjured flame. They are the artists of destruction, and tonight, Dirktown is their canvas. Towards the Bloodstone Gate, within the Polter district, a similar scene begins to unfold. Hundreds of boots echo against the cobblestones as a separate detachment of wardens and sanguine mages make their way towards the bridge that connects Polter to Dirktown. From your vantage point on the gatehouse overlooking the bridge, you watch as basically this connecting bridge between the two districts becomes the stage for the Crimson Court's precision strike. The wardens form up in tightly organised lines on the Polter side, a wall of crimson and steel that advances step by measured step. At their rear, the mages stand ready, their hands raised, and the air around them begins to ripple with heat. This bridge is basically an artery through which the lifeblood of Dirktown's misery is about to be severed. The main advance pouring out of the Commons district begins to corral the slum dwellers towards the centre of the district, a metallic ring of boots on ground followed by the intimidating roar of swords being slammed against shields, echoing above the rising cries of desperation and fear. Further to the west, Dirktown Keep, a crumbling relic a crumbling relic of a fort perched on the district's far edge, has already moved to cordon off the wilderness beyond. The soldiers stationed there forming an iron barrier, cutting off any attempt to escape into the fields and forests beyond. Dirktown is surrounded. There will be no escape. As the executioners close in from all sides, the slums erupt into a cacophony of madness. The inhabitants of Dirktown, now freed from the numbing influence of the Doctore's parasites, now feel the full weight of their situation and their doom. Rational thought has returned to them, and with it, raw panic. The streets now begin to flood with the desperate, a stampede of screaming men, women, children clawing at one another to escape. Gang leaders, perhaps once kings of their tiny empires in the slums, shove their followers aside and perhaps even grab what little coin or belongings that they have to carry. From the Sapphire Gate, the attack begins in earnest. Fireballs streak into the air, their orange-red light reflecting off the still black water of the canal. They hang there for a heartbeat, tiny stars against an endless twilight of Astoya's sky before they fall. The impact, catastrophic, devastating. A symphony of explosions ripples across the centre of Dirktown, each one blooming into a roaring inferno that devours everything it touches. The slums, a district built of wood and filth, catches fire as though they have been waiting for this moment. Buildings collapse inwards, and the flames lick hungrily at their remains. The chaos spreads like wildfire, literally. The sounds begin to carry faintly across the water, distant screams, cries of desperation. The panicked clatter of feet as Dirktown's denizens attempt to flee the inevitable. But there is no escape. The forces advancing from Polter are no less methodical. The wardens press across the bridge with shields raised, driving a vanguard towards the heart of Dirktown. Resistance is fleeting. A desperate group of slum dwellers charges the advancing soldiers with makeshift weapons, only to be cut down in moments. Behind the wardens, the mages begin their work. Cones of flame jet out in wide arcs, torching entire clusters of fleeing people and buildings. And the canal itself, you, from your position above, see it as a trap. Its murky waters offering no escape for those who are trying to flee. You watch as some slum dwellers leap into the black depths, only to find themselves either unable to swim or to become sustenance to the increasing number of monstrous water leapers and other critters that are now starting to gather. Those who are lucky enough to survive and attempt to swim are greeted with bolts from warden crossbowmen who are now stationed along the Polter shore. The bodies begin sinking beneath the surface with barely a ripple. And still, the fire spreads. The alleys of Dirktown are a labyrinth. The populace scramble through the alleys like rats in a maze, and you see their forms moving frantically through the blaze. The wardens press forward relentlessly, their discipline unbroken even as the chaos around them grows. Those who fall behind, those who resist, and those who stand frozen in terror are cut down with ruthless efficiency. The Sanguine Academy mages barely glance at the people they burn alive. This is not a slaughter born of hatred or rage, but of clinical, detached purpose. You see one mage carve through an entire street with a wave of flame, her face devoid of emotion as she incinerates anything that moves. Another fireball arcs into the sky, striking one of the larger wooden accommodations closer to the Polter district's edge. The explosion flattens the area completely, sending chunks of burning wood and stone into the air. The shockwave rattles across the canal, the heat of the blast faintly warming your skin, even at this distance. You imagine the fire feels far less forgiving on the other side. One by one, the streets of Dirktown vanish beneath the flames. The shanties, the leaning towers of rotted wood, the filth-strewn corners and confines of this district all now fall to ruin, consumed in a purging fire. The people, the vermin that scurried in the shadows, fare no better. Their screams fade into the night, muffled by the sheer immensity of the blaze. And with this, Dorian, how do you feel?
Well, from his vantage point, and everyone staring out at the scene of devastation, Dorian's removed his gauntlets and his helmet to drink and also drink this in and just see everything's come on. The scene that plays out before them was easily preventable. It was entirely possible to not go this way by just, even after the fact, if the influence of the Doctore and the Filth Grazer had been lost, this is a scene of literal senseless devastation and brutality for the sake of it and for the personal gain of some people in the court to use the real estate after. This is exactly the kind of thing that creatures that of ruin and fear and fire thrive upon. And as Dorian is looking at this, the glint of fire coming back, reflecting across everyone's gaze. In his, it is no longer simply reflecting, and now it is as if the flame is burning from inside of his irises, looking back out at this. And just the immense amount of terror and panic and the immensity of the scene washes over him as he slightly becomes a little less human, gazing at this, unseen. The mark that brands him burns anew, shifting form, and as two tiny horns begin to push their way from his skull up into the air, his cheekbones become more gaunt in places, becoming more bony, and as his nature starts to push more and more through from this mortal vessel that he inhabits.
And so, you stand and watch for what may be hours. Dirktown burns, and you are the architects of its destruction. From this side of the canal, safe and untouched, perhaps it's almost beautiful in its way. The rising pillars of smoke and flame form a jagged skyline against the perpetual twilight, an artist's vision of ruin. With the hours, the screams begin to fade into silence, the last vestiges of resistance crumbling beneath fire and steel, its ash soon to be swept away by the cold winds of Astoria. A problem solved, a loose end tied, and the faint warmth of distant flames. Perhaps now, witnessing this exercise, training perhaps by only a small number of the Asturian military, you may hold a deeper appreciation of the true power that the Crimson Court has at their disposal, but Dirktown is no more. Fire, ruin, and now the serenity of the void. All that remain. Congratulations on scouring Dirktown from existence.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
Well, they're putting in work down there.
It was inevitable. We couldn't risk plague spreading to the rest of the city, now could we?
$10,356.
Souls.
So, Vanya, you being higher than everyone might be able to make this out. There's a thin line shadow leaving Cypher's shadow, and as it crosses the bridge, it branches out like a spider's web. Touching every body that, had died. Catching their souls the moment they died.
Bear in mind, this scene, you probably sat there for several hours. This was not a quick extermination. Extermination. I'm trying to blend exterminatus and extermination there. But so yeah, the initial scouring of Dirktown would have taken several hours, just to make sure that you're all aware of the time frame. But sorry, Cypher, do continue.
Yeah, so for the 2-3 hours it took for this to happen, he's been weaving his net and catching souls. And he just holds out his hand and goes, and with that, they arise. And he lifts his hand up, and 10,356 burning black skeletons rise from the ground. And as he does that, Legion manifests round him, spilling out of his own shadow. They grasp this tendril of shadow and start hauling it in like fishermen with the catch of the day.
Whilst this is happening, and Cypher has been weaving away and grasping these shadows, I just want to quickly inquire as to people's thoughts in regards to what's just occurred. So whilst Cypher has been secretly weaving away and grasping these things, Reza, through this whole ordeal, thoughts?
Reza stands and watches the entire thing. Doesn't flinch, barely blinks. What she is thinking about is the future. And like she said, if there was any chance of plague, this was the perfect breeding ground for it, so it had to go. There were no other options to protect the rest of the city. And she thinks back to their first meeting with Countess Vilpescu.
Mm-hmm.
And how, when they were there, she asked her, "What do you want?" And Reza didn't have an answer. But as she watches Dirktown burn, the answer to that question just crystallizes within her mind, and she decides on a purpose for her possibly eternal life.
Okay. Vanya.
Well, her kind of sitting there, not with the others, and as she sees Cypher's tendrils kind of take each soul over the few hours, she has more of a heavy heart and is disappointed because of the countless that were lost that could have been a potential within her sisterhood or among her masses, and kind of just imagining what kind of hope that they could have flickered throughout if she could have been able to get her grasp on those 10,000 souls. But just more disappointment.
Okay. Garrett.
Well, through the last few hours, Garrett's been stood as far back as he could possibly get. Ramrod straight. Almost statuesque. Watching the flames. The loss of life means little to him. The destruction. Yeah, things need to be knocked down to be rebuilt. Garrett just hates fire.
Okay. Dorian, is there anything else you wish to add to your aftermath?
Well, things. Granted, Dorian very much does not see this the same way Reza does. That chances are nothing would have come of this, of the Doctori once they were dealt with. However, this is not only a victory over the Doctori in that respect, that they were also, in a way, the stumbling block that had been in the way of accomplishing what we had kind of set out this arc trying to accomplish, which was securing the lower streets for ourselves. If you'll recall, Van Ryzen and the Sandoval's popping up was the thing that was preventing Dorian from basically saying, well, I guess I'm the guy now. And it's really all of this has followed that. So he sees this as kind of like a personal victory as well. Like, this is dispatching the competition. So he's just getting a lot of satisfaction out of this entire thing for all together. So he's just very content with himself. And of course, unlike Garrett, he very much enjoys Flame, so he is just kind of soaking it in.
And with that, the fear, the terror, the wrath, the ruin, the fire. This atmosphere is something that you drink in, Dorian. And with an event of this scale, I dare say that's congratulations on your step into tier 2 of Demon Transformation. Now, the last few embers burning down, Cypher, Legion was... You know what, let's go from the top again, as Legion begins to pull things in. As you manifest Legion at this last moment. Go for it.
They spill out from Cypher's shadow like oil, like an oil spill, and then 9 ethereal skeletons draped in shadow come out, ponder forwards, grasp hold of this tendril of shadow that is like a rope, and just start pulling the souls that start slowly, ponderously marching on closer and closer towards Cypher, with relish in his one baleful eye.
Like a grim procession. Would anyone else be able to see this, Cypher? Or is this just to you?
Yeah, probably everyone. The wardens and everything might be freaking out round about now. The mages are probably trying to kill them, but they're just like echoes of what was there. That you can't hit them, you can't do anything to them. They just pass through. Like some wardens are just walked straight through by these apparitions as they ponder on forwards. So I might have started Pandemonium. Round 2.
Absolutely. Cries, commanding shouts begin to ring out from the ground below. That of warden, commanders, of officers attempting to rally the scattered forces into some form of defense against these incorporeal, black, charred, burning skeletons that are now rising from the dead. The sanguine mages also now making their way into the center of these defensive squares. A couple of them you would see arcs of various magics cast out. All of them passing through as this soulless, well, not so much soulless, but this army of souls begins their dread march through ruins, through flesh, through steel, funneling down in a point towards the bridge that crosses from Polter to Dirktown. Cypher, from your elevated position, you see this mass of souls start coalescing into a vortex just on the opposite side of the canal. Legion, like a fishmonger dragging in their catch for the day, just pulling them closer and closer. This vortex beginning to grow and grow. A black pillar that stretches high into the sky. Multiple faces, shadowed in nature, begin to peer out as they are sucked in. The shouts of the wardens grow even more. Concern? Absolutely. Scared? Not so much. But there, all of a sudden, the air begins to grow unnaturally still for but a brief moment. There, almost instantaneously, colour is sucked from everyone's vision, leaving nothing but a snapshot of monochrome black and white. Time has stopped. Or has it? Dorian, Cypher, Reza, Vanya, Garrett, you glance around at each other in this now colourless, soundless world you inhabit. Cypher, you immediately know where this is.
Oh no. He looks around and he goes, it can't be.
Can't
Looks
be
at
what?
him.
Go ahead.
Wait, you're here?
Is Reza able to talk?
Around you all, what was once carnage and destruction and ruin is nowhere to be seen. Apart from this mass of souls, this vast vortex being drawn in by Legion, remains at a standstill. They're moving, they're active, but not towards you all. Sound seems to be emitted. You can hear, but muffled, as if underwater almost. So yeah, you can speak.
Can we move?
You can. Slowly.
Reza looks down at her hands in answer to Cypher's question. I'm fairly certain I'm here. Why? What's going on, Cypher?
I've been here before. This is the Shadowfell. And we're all in the Shadowfell. And I definitely didn't bring us into the Shadowfell.
Then who did?
Before you all, the shadows of Legion seem to stretch and shift. And then, like tormented mannequins, they begin to twist and contort. Some of the shades at the edge prostrate themselves on the ground as those in the center of the massive Legion start to coil around each other like tendrils. And at that, a single lone figure starts to form and emerge from the darkness within Legion. You would see a feminine form, cloaked in tattered black robes that seem to drink in whatever faint light is available in this black and white world. But the fabric doesn't move like cloth. It ripples and stirs as though woven from Legion itself. obscuring all but the vaguest shape of her body. Behind her, 2 immense black wings hang limp and broken. Their grandeur long since stolen by time or torment, with the ends dragging heavily along the ground with every slow, silent step she takes towards you all. Then you would notice something strange, the feathers. Slowly, one by one, as they fall away, they descend, but each glows with an ethereal golden light, vibrant and radiant, only to be extinguished from existence moments after reaching the ground. This display is as haunting as it is beautiful, perhaps a fleeting glimpse of something divine being lost forever. Her head turns, and for a moment, her attention is on the countless souls that have now started to surround her. They shift, waver in her presence, and the posture of this black-cloaked being is heavy with grief. Even though her features remain hidden beneath the hood, you feel the weight of her sadness as if it were your own. Cypher, perhaps a new sensation to you. Dorian, one certainly unfamiliar, perhaps unpleasant. The shadows stubbornly conceal everything about this figure, with the exception of 2 glowing orbs of molten gold that pierce through the darkness. They are sharp, unyielding, and utterly mesmerizing, locking onto each of you as she sees something no one else could. There is power in that gaze, but also pain. She stands before you, a vision of contradiction, strength and fragility, divinity and despair. Thoughts, reactions, go.
Guys, it's not my fault.
How close is the figure to us?
Other side of the bridge at this point. So as you're on top of the tower looking down over the bridge towards the soul, she would no doubt be... where was Legion? In fact, the best way... Cypher, where was Legion when it started drawing these souls in?
They kind of walked down the wall and onto the bridge, so they're probably mid-bridge now.
So with that, then, you are on an elevated position looking down at this broken angelic figure on the bridge. So 30, 40 feet away.
What?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead and ask your question.
Does Reza feel anything holy or sacred, like an aura around her, or like is she painful to look at for Reza? Like any vibe like that going on?
Roll me an insight check.
Might have sent you a DM solution.
Mm-hmm.
Dorian's gonna duck down.
Try to disappear up his own ass.
Okay. So, as you glance down towards this being, Reza, she is not unpleasant to look at all. Nothing seems to stir within you, almost as if you were cut off from any connection with it. Divine, absolutely. Perhaps even a tinge of familiarity.
She's just gonna look it in the eyes and just sort of like send a thought out. This is the last time.
Vanya?
Does she get a sense, maybe, you know, the souls and stuff that's coming towards Cypher, that she wants those released to her?
Well, just from pure observation, without even making a roll, as soon as this divine figure turned up, these souls stopped dead. Some of the souls that were part of Legion Cypher's spell, which is made up of souls, prostrated themselves on the ground at her arrival. It doesn't seem like whatever control Cypher may have had there has been torn away.
Would Vanya have any history or knowledge of this individual, or?
Roll me an insight check.
Yep. Just in case anyone's looking, Dorian has like a really big oh shit expression. And he's just like clearly trying to not be seen by the figure.
Vanya, there is something vaguely familiar about this, but not entirely certain where. It's there, though, that this figure below begins to step forward. But not as if stepping on the bridge. No, she steps 1 foot in the air and begins to step closer to you all. Almost as if walking on stairs. Obviously, there's no stairs beneath her feet. She's walking on nothing but the air of the Shadowfell, levitating almost. But she slowly begins to step forward. One curse of obedience, gilded in blood and arrogance. It constrains your will, but you wear it willingly. A pact sealed in desperation or ambition. But worse than the chains of noble tyrants is the stench of rot upon your souls, this filth grazer, bold of that loathsome creature to show itself in my domain, even bolder of it to mark those close to me. Two curses born together, chains and filth, restraint and decay. These marks cling to your soul as if foreign bodies lodged within living flesh, slowly poisoning everything around them. The figure closes her eyes for a moment and you hear the sound of whispers in the air from the souls surrounding you all before she starts to nods. To the one, Catalina Elora Vulpescu, I sever your leash. You shall no longer command their will. Your geas is broken. Your contract void. You would all feel an invisible weight rip free from your minds. A sudden, painful release as the geas shatters. The power of the Crimson Court wrenched away by sheer force of will. The entity pauses, its voice colder now, dripping with disdain. And to the filth grazer, wretched beast of disease, your defilement shall be scrubbed clean, your scrying mark erased. Begone from these individuals and crawl back to whatever abyss spawned you. You would then feel the searing pain of the scrying tether being torn from your essence. The foul energy of the filth grazer's silent presence shrieks momentarily in all of your minds before being utterly obliterated. First, Reza, this shadowed form looks over you and you feel a slight tinge of sadness emanating from her as she speaks. Little Reza, there is sadly little I can do to assist you since you have been cursed to eternally roam between these existences until the end of time, but at the very least I can turn back the temporary suffering afflicted upon your form. With an outstretched hand, Reza. Oh, where are you? Where are you? You begin to feel your body twist, contort as... I'm gonna find the damn thing I'm looking for.
I repeat, this is not my fault.
Your body begins to revert back. All cuts, all wounds, all damage taken during the last day or so. It seems as if time has been turned back. You regain full HP.
What the fuck?
The
Did
entity,
I got a long rest?
that's basically a long rest.
Do I hit the long rest button and get my spell slots back too?
Absolutely.
Suck it, Vanya! I mean, what?
I wish she could kill you right now.
Reza just, like, locks eyes with this entity and is just, like, trying to take it all in and, like, connect with it as much as she can.
And you, a shining beacon in this dire times. She turns towards you, Vanya. You stand tiptoeing upon a very dangerous precipice between damnation and salvation. One of the falling feathers floats towards you, Vanya, and hovers a couple of inches in front of your face. A gift. What you do with it, though, well, is your own choice.
Vanya's gonna, lift up on her broom and grab the feather and inspect it.
It's in your hands, a radiant golden feather that then slowly starts to blacken, but this time doesn't disappear like the others. Whilst you're doing that, though, this being turns towards you, Garrett. And Garrett, what you want I cannot give, for the strife incurred for opening that lock and the capriciousness of the gatekeeper is a trouble I cannot to deal with. There, her eyes... Her eyes turn down for a moment as she offers you a single nod, Garrett. Then the glowing molten eyes turn towards a somewhat hunkered down individual, Dorian.
If she gets to the point where, like, she's like basically there, he's just gonna stand up and just like,
Yeah.
It's like there's a look of resignation and kind of like a child that's been caught by a parent. He's just like, oh fuck, well.
Yes, the glowing molten eyes seem to darken as they turn to you, Dorian. A flicker with a slight huddle hue of red. And her tone certainly changes from that of almost maternal from the rest to something much more direct. Oh, and how low you have fallen, to feed upon the scraps of existence like a maggot on a corpse. Fine. I will permit you this temporary freedom purely out of interest to watch you rail and scream against your fate, if one could even call it a scream. You're a whisper, not a voice, a stain, not a presence, but... And then a finger points out towards you, Dorian. You will make sure that those around you are looked after. There is disgust and disdain that ooze from her as she speaks with you, Dorian, and does not break eye contact.
Yeah, Dorian is just, looking back at her, just not gonna say anything. No sense trying to tempt. No sense fanning the flames, let's say.
Enough flames have been fanned this evening. And then she turns her face towards you, Cypher. And finally, the problem child. I already bear the burden of one immortal fool's mistake. One who scorches through the souls of the departed, casting them into his ravenous fires, heedless of the futures he cut short by his pursuit. Yet, even in his reckless hunger, he bends to a purpose, however cruel, however flawed. It at least serves a greater plan being stitched upon the broken cadaver of fate. But you, Cypher, you hold no such purpose. You hold nothing for the dead beyond what they can provide for your insatiable greed, your boundless thirst for power, your own selfish, childish wants and desires. You would grind their futures to ash beneath your heel, unmaking what could yet be, their dreams, their loves, their chances to return and live again, each snuffed out for the hollow pursuit of your own supremacy. She turns around to look at this vortex of over 10,000 souls. To harvest so many souls. I cannot, and will not abide a desecration of this magnitude. Not here, not again. They are sparks, each one holding the potential to ignite again in the future. She looks towards Vanya as one of the souls slithers away from the mass and begins to coil around her hand. To take them is to snuff out that light, to rob the world of what could yet be. She closes a fist around the soul in her hand, and you just hear the sound of breaking glass as this soul is shattered, annihilated in her grip. I will not allow you to turn thousands of potential futures into ash. This is a defilement I cannot ignore, a wound too great to leave untreated. These souls are not yours to glut your power, nor to bind to your newfound immortality. I deem these destined to one day rise, fall, and rise again. By my authority as the sole remaining attendant of the great cycle, I deny you. Your will falters here. These souls shall remain beyond your grasp. Now, be gone. With a brief wave of her hand and a blink of the eye, you are all left with an afterimage of a monotone world burnt into your retina, and time returns-ish to its natural flow. The vortex of chaotic energies that were once swirling above Dirktown are nowhere to be seen. In fact, the devastation in front of you is just black and charred. Where moments ago there were 1,000 or so wardens and mages, there is now nothing but emptiness. Casca and Skarn and Dame Cordea, who were at your back mere moments ago, nowhere to be seen. And that's where we'll call our next break.
Timey-wimey bullshit. No.
We'll be right back. I'm back. Oh,
Welcome back.
Adverts have just started as well. Cool. We'll give it a few moments. Yeah. Well, that was a thing.
Oh, my lovely soul.
Denied. You just got told no.
Fuck me, I got.
It's on my nose like a puppy.
With that said, though, Cypher, you are the only one who knows the timey-wimey bullshit. 5 or 10 minutes in the Shadowfell?
To the way around, isn't it?
Well, no. 10 minutes in real time is how long? Yes, it is the other way around. So how long have you been gone?
We may have been in the Shadowfell for like months.
No. It's not that bad. Just for sort of 5 or 10 minutes, you're looking at about 24 hours.
Oh, yeah. I think we worked it out. Every half an hour is like 15 days.
Might have been a bit longer then, yeah. So regardless, you've been away for a while.
Wasn't my fault, guys.
All right. Adverts are over, so with that, we'll get rid of the banner. So yeah, with this after image of a black and white world now burnt into your retina briefly, colour returns, and you find yourselves alone, just a group stood on top of the tower. I am going to say for this, I think the way I worked out the time for the brief 5 minutes, it would be, I think, 24 hours. But time in the ethereal plane can change, especially when there is a
deity walking around. Yeah,
potential deity walking around. No, it's not been months, guys. It's been over 24 hours.
Dorian is
phew.
going to walk up to Cypher because Cypher is undoubtedly crestfallen at having all of his toys seized. So he's just gonna put his hand on Cypher's shoulder. I know how you feel. She's like this. You finally have everything in your clutches. The world is going to burn, and then just whoop, it's gone.
Thanks.
There'll be
Dorian.
other people, other souls. You can't have too much fun, apparently.
Yeah. I gotta figure something else out.
But did you hear that?
What?
There's a chance for something more. After.
Dorian's going to put his hand to his face, just like, not another one.
What? What do you mean another one?
And he's just going to briefly glance at Vanya.
Vanya's gonna have like a smile on her face, kind of like because she was disappointed and just a little depressed by when she was watching all of that, but felt better whenever the deity was talking about using them for a purpose and being more, because it kind of spoke to her heart. So she's over there just glowing.
Don't compare me to that. No, I'm just saying this. If you haven't,
He's gonna hold up 2 fingers, like just to indicate a little bit, like a measure. Be careful.
You're right. It's a slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope. Thank you, Dorian. Ooh, I needed that. Okay.
Okay, let's go. Stupid vortex lady.
Cypher.
To
So go on, Dorian.
Cypher, Dorian's gonna lean in. It's like, it's, just there'll be others. It'll work out.
It's
Does
weird
that-
being comforted by Dorian. I don't like it.
Well, just think of now you won't break anything else by trying to absorb that many souls. You probably could have broke your ring. And then where would you be?
Question.
Say-
What?
Was she saying like, the souls that they could be used again several times? Is that us?
No.
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 Cypher's actually laughing now.
Okay.
Well, he could-
So let me see here. Do I have religion? No.
Yeah, I mean, Cypher, that energy you've felt it before.
Mhm.
You know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, to be honest with you, I dare say it would be difficult not to know who that was at this stage.
Yeah, Reza totally knows.
You see, Vanya? That is what true religion can bring.
Really? And Vanya kind of perks up, because in her mind, it's like, if she has the power to stop things and to make it the way that she wants it, just like this individual did, that's what she wants.
I don't think you can actually turn into that.
No, you can't. The only things like that are things that are left from a time that is now broken. There will never be new ones.
I wouldn't be too sure about that.
You can't fault me for trying. I mean, you never know unless you try, right? You miss 100% of the shots you never take.
Sometimes you just know that you can't magically turn into a celestial being with all that power.
Especially in the district of said celestial being.
No, I just think I have a good outlook on life and share with others, and I will continue to do that at whatever cost. And if it gives everyone hope, and I have an idol now.
Curious that she overlooked you scrambling in to do the same thing that Scythe was doing on a smaller scale just before all this. And he's going to go over to the hatch and start trying to make his way down the rope, just letting himself down. Perhaps she didn't know.
Now go on.
That's all.
Even with all her power, she still can't grant me which I wish. And Garrett just hops off the edge of the wall.
Reza picks up her cloak and puts it back on and then hops off as well, but she floats gently to the ground.
Yeah, you managed to use it.
It's fine, I'll climb down myself, guys. Cypher's gonna try to shoot me down this fucking rope.
You can just help the man thing child.
She'll get close.
Cypher, do you hop on the broom?
No. No. I'm committed now. I'm halfway down. My legs are dangling off the precipice. I got my hands on the rope. I'm like, fuck it.
Dorian's going to be at the bottom of the rope, just like in
Shaking
case.
it.
Yeah, just waiting.
Whipping it against the wall. Go on, Cypher. Roll me in athletics. What happens? Go on. I'll leave this to your imagination. What happens? Meme it up. We need some lightheartedness injection after all of that.
Well, it is weakened state. Like he's like his hands have been burned, so like you start sliding down, and a couple of his fingers just break off, and he just loses his grip because like he loses a thumb and like half the fingers on one of his hands, and he just fucking falls.
Dorian.
Reza. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Dorian at the bottom of
Dorian
at the bottom of the rope. He is not in top form right now, but he's going to stumble in the way. He teeters back and forth trying to judge the path, but he's falling weirdly because his fingers just snapped off and he's kind of wobbling because he still had a grip on one hand. He's flying through there, so Dorian tries to get underneath Cypher to break his fall and just he catches him. He might take a little bit of he might take the impact of it, but
Reza's still floating, and she's just gonna, when she lands, she's just gonna pick up all the pieces of finger bone.
Go on, Cypher.
I can't roll a twist. I can't roll a twist of fate.
Hang on. You can if I do. If I bring you in.
I want to see how Dorian caught me. Cypher falls, lands on Dorian's shoulder, and breaks his back. He's now paralyzed for 24 hours until his body recovers.
You just hear this sickening as Cypher. You catch him, Dorian, but he lands like on your shoulder, and like a piece of wood being snapped, just.
All right. That's 6 points of damage. 17 hit points. So he gets hit with this falling body and takes the impact, and realizing what's kind of gone on and the fact that Cypher's not scrambling off or anything. Do you want to see what's behind or what's in front?
No, I'm fine where I am.
Cypher, put yourself on 1 HP.
Reza walks over to him, dangling as he fell, and just holds out this pile of finger bones and is like, would you like a hand?
Do I amuse you?
That's how I know you're dead.
Oh, God.
It's okay. I was a marionette once. We'll get you fixed right away. And Dorian's going to start walking back towards the folly.
As he does, Reza's just gonna loop a finger into Cypher's bag of holding, just toss his finger bones in there for when you're feeling better.
You're not funny.
I'm kind of funny. And she starts walking behind them, making faces.
So Cypher's just staring at you upside down.
Cypher, like,
Stripped over backwards.
he doesn't have a face, so he can't do anything, so she's just rubbing it in. She can't.
Now, granted, anybody on the streets of Polter District and Market Row who sees this are going to be absolutely fucking terrified, scarred for life.
Just another day in Nova Stoya.
He's carrying a dead guy.
Should have put a poll up today. Son of a bitch.
Get
Never
back.
mind. But yeah, anything else from anyone as you make your way back towards the folly?
Dorian's just kind of muttering. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're right. I'm choking.
Oh, Dorian's just muttering. All that and can't even get Garrett home. Suppose we'll have to find our own way to tear a hole in the universe.
Well, I'm slightly more concerned if Lady Vulpesky will be mad that her gaze got broken early. I'm sure she probably felt that. That was very noticeable, and I hope she doesn't think we broke it. I'm slightly concerned how we explained that one.
Well, she knows where to find us, and quite frankly, just at this point, I'm not going to be cowering before her. We've done our part. Gaius or no, the job's done. Deal is fulfilled.
True. Our performance speaks for itself. You know, Dorian, you really should become a motivational speaker for the dead. You're very good at it.
Motivational speaker for the dead?
For the dead.
For the dead. What?
Like me, I'm dead, and you've motivated me twice already today, like without even trying.
If only Vanya were half as good.
She's just gonna be in the back, just staring holes in the back of their head.
Does Dorian still have horns?
The moment they were out of the Shadowfell, the horns are no longer there.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, with that, you make your way back towards the Shadowed Circle. Or the Folly. Where are we going now? This is the part where me as DM tick the box and say, there we go. Done my bit.
Yeah, well, wherever fucking Dorian takes me, obviously.
So I said the Folly, but I meant the Shadowed Circle.
Okay.
So he wants to get Cypher there and probably, in all honesty, like wait to see if other people turn up. But he kind of wants to get Cypher back to his obelisk so he can kind of like soak in the power and, recover faster.
As you step through the door into the Shadow Circle, you begin to make your way across from the usual corner.
Ah, you are back.
Indeed.
You disappeared, turned to dust.
We got better.
Scarn.
Did we?
It was just a light dusting. It's fine.
I found thing for you.
And he points towards a cage on the bar, which has got a bat captured in it.
And that was one thing. Came earlier. Other told Falco you disappeared in puff of smoke.
Was he
Falco.
happy or dismayed?
I believe Falco be, what was the term? Shitting bricks.
Very well.
Reza
Dor-
will... Oh,
Go
go ahead. Nope, you go.
ahead.
Mm-mm.
All Dorian's going to do is he's going to get Cypher and put him in a corner chair so he has a view of the room. So he's not like, restricted, just like seeing the wall or something. I'm just going to go get a small mug of ale just to have something to drink, and so you'll sit there for a while.
I think
Oh, I'm not going anywhere.
Munchie is trying to get at the bat in the cage.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
So Reza goes over and picks up the cat and then attempts to extract the message from the caged bat.
Okay. As you reach a hand in, the bat that was once flying around trying to escape the cat's paw that kept poking into the cage, it stops, sits on your hand, and allows you to quickly extract the message. And it basically states, contact me when back, DC.
So, Reza is going to... What's the name of the bartender again? I've completely blanked.
Alistair.
Alistair, quill and ink, please.
When I find... Where's picture gone? Ah. As he pops up from the end of the bar, having pointed out some of the better alcohol to Dorian, he turns towards you as a terribly sorry. What was that?
Ink and quill, please.
Sorry. You'll have to forgive me. It's when Scarn came back, it was he said you all disappeared, but Falco's scared and concerned, but we all told him it's natural. Just don't worry about it. Pen, quill, and parchment. There you are. Put some down on the counter for you.
Reza will rip off a tiny corner of paper and write, "We're back." Blow on it to dry the ink a little bit, and then roll it up, put it back in the thing, and release the bat.
The bat makes its way towards the door and seems to squeeze through one of the gaps around the stonework before shooting down the corridor back to freedom.
Well, hopefully that gets back to the sender.
Wait, is Garrett back?
He's not in the shadowed circle.
If he is, he's probably in the Thorn Room or. Really, that's basically where he'd probably be. You want to go and see?
Oh no, I'm fine. I just wanted to make sure he got back.
He will in his own time. Just news like, I can't get you back home. He might be coming to terms.
Well, it's not like he was really relying on that avenue anyway, was he?
No.
So,
No, but having that thrown in your face is just never going to be something that you're quite ready for.
I suppose that's fair. Well, I, for one, am feeling incredibly refreshed. After all that, Cypher, is there anything I can run down and get for you? Book? Anything?
No. Actually, yes. Yes, a book would be fine.
Okay, which book?
There's one with red leather, and it's got like a glass eye on it.
Oh, okay, that one? Alright.
Don't stare at the eye.
I wasn't going to.
It's just a heads up.
Yep. You know, no, don't get up. I'll go get it for you. And
Oh, okay, I'll do that then.
So it goes down to get him the book described. And when she comes back up, she also has a small lump of stone that she has been working on shaping. And she's got some like sandpaper, various grits. She's just gonna work on it while they wait for Garrett to show up. She's just gonna sit next to Cypher, uncomfortably close, and just be as annoying as possible, like a little sister would.
All right.
You know, I think I'd prefer Vanya's Vanya! Well, where's Vanya?
Vanya has snuck out because she went to go write a letter to her sisters to tell them that she's had an awakening and that be prepared, they're going to ramp up production. And so she gets that and then sends that out, and then she's going to be in her area inspecting the feather before she eventually crashes to rest.
Okay. In your little hovel deep below the shadowed circle, you sit in. In fact, what's this starting to look like now? You know, a bit of time's passed. I'm sure that over the little bits of downtime, you've decorated it a bit more or done a few renovations. What's your hovel looking like, Vanya?
Yeah, so of course, she has collected a bunch of grimoires, tombs, and has copied a few from her studies. So it's gonna look kind of like a library. There's gonna be a ton of books from her studies, you're still gonna have the massive cauldron in the center, and I like to think of her look as kind of dark / cottagey.
Yeah.
So, which you would think it would be really pristine, but she kind of likes the look of old and kind of unique type things that are in there that draws her interest. Some shiny things, maybe. She's put like flowers and all of that in there because she'll randomly go in and pick things from Garrett's area, so that just to have some life and some breath in her area.
Okay. So, if you could roll me an insight check, please, Vanya. As you begin to look over this feather. There we go. I have just put that in your inventory. The feather in your hand is roughly 7-8 inches in length, and mostly black in colour now, apart from the edges that seem to have this luminescent, multicoloured hue to the tips of the feathers. Holding it in your hand, it feels warm, comforting, and you can definitely feel there is power within this item. You're not entirely certain exactly what type. It's an energy that is very rare. But from your interactions with this being early, you know it's celestial, divine, perhaps, in nature. Is there anything in particular you wish to know about this feather?
Is it her precious?
I don't know. Is it? Is it your precious now?
It could be. It could be. Let's see. Would it? So she wouldn't have. Would she have any kind of inkling of this type of magic or feeling?
No. This is a magic that has been lost since the gods basically up and vanished. Certainly not a power that you've dabbled in or would know much about, at the moment at least. You do now have something tangible that you can experiment with, perhaps, or use as a catalyst. Whatever and wherever your imagination takes you. You have a key to a locked door, it would seem. And perhaps the words of this entity saying you stand upon the precipice of either damnation or salvation. Maybe this is the key to one or the other.
Oh, okay. Well, she's gonna, because she's gonna study it, right? And she's gonna try to find out more about it and how she could particularly use it. But one thing that she has in her immediate possession is the Forbidden Tome, and is going to ask questions about the feather. First thing that she's gonna ask basically is what is this? And then kind of describe what it is and the feeling and all of that. So it's going to be like a novel she's read.
It's a feather. Feather of a celestial, it would seem, yes?
As this face peers out from the book, looking at you.
A celestial feather of a seraph, maybe? No. Describe it to me.
She's gonna describe it, the blackened feathers with the colors on it. the golden colors, and then telling him how she had gotten the feather as well.
A face from the other side of the page looks in. That's no mere
Feather, you dumb fool. No, this is from the arch-seraphs. There's no such things as arch-seraphs, you fool. What manner of scum fell into your brain? You know very little, old man.
All of a sudden, in
The
front
book's
of
arguing with itself there.
all of a sudden, Vanya, this book starts arguing with itself.
And she just kind of sits back and she just listens because she's jotting down, things that they're saying, so that she knows what to kind of look into, to see if like she agrees, and then like she'll ask questions of if you thought it was from them, what would it do? Just and then continuing the conversation on.
What could it do? What couldn't it do? If this is the feather of some celestial being, then perhaps you could rub it on yourself, grant a wish. No, feathers do not grant wishes. You are senile, captured within this thing for so long, you have no more brain cells left to even put coherent sentences together, you old bean. I will have you know that in my prime I was the Grand Maester of one of the sects of Akantal.
It just starts to carry on.
No, hold on. We're derailing here. If you don't rub it for a wish, what have feathers been used historically? How have they been used historically?
Feathers such as that, you could make a nice hat. You could put it as a decoration. You could brew it down into potions, perhaps consume it as for the effects. Who knows? Or alternatively, you could use it as some sort of focusing, perhaps either in a gem powdered down, or
What if it came off of the being? Does that make a difference?
well, of course a feather came off a being. They don't just grow in the ground, do they?
It didn't come not like some random bird, is what I'm saying. Now she starts arguing with it, and they're just like back and forth. Like off of the being that gave me the feather.
Reza
Just the
hears
Westfield being.
this cacophony as she's getting Cypher's book, and she's just like, fuck this shit, and runs in to get what she needs and gets out.
I mean, if it's from a being that's powerful, was this taken or given?
Given.
Oh, well, if that thing was given, then who knows what... A third face then pops in the book. What about if you stuck it in a staff or a wand, perhaps? That might not be a bad idea. You could have it as a fucking feather duster. A magical feather duster of the angels. No, you fool. That is foolish.
Well, I was kind of liking where you were going with sticking it in something so that it's a continual use and not just a one-time use whenever you burn it for some kind of potion or something like that. That's not a bad idea, but I don't know about a feather duster.
See, the rest of you, transmutation is the key, the pinnacle of magical artifice and understanding. Go back to your hovels. The two other faces fold back into the book. Yes, powder it down, break it into usable components, perhaps as fuels, either for a spell or for items. Yes.
What kind of items?
I don't know. Pretty little bracelet, or perhaps as manacles imbued with the power of a seraph would be. You could control anything. There are few things that could break free from the control of a celestial being.
They could glow, shine, glimmer. This has been helpful. You have been the most helpful. This is the first time I've seen you come out of here.
Erasmus von Kalanisk III. A pleasure.
This face from the page seems to be a sketched face of a rat-like looking individual, long pointy moustache that twirls at the end, a bit of a triangular goatee that points down his chin, with very deep set eyes, blackened under the blackened eye bags, squirrely, rat-like in nature.
Yes, I appreciate your wisdom. You've definitely have been a little bit more creative than the others. I may call upon you more often.
The others, they dabble in necromancy, in abjuration, but no enchantment. Good school of magic, knows well. Transmutation, though, the key, the pinnacle of magical technology and understanding, that I will give you.
She thanks him once again and says she will return and closes the book.
But the other thing that could be... No, don't close it. I've just seen light for the first time in...
We'll talk again.
Get the book closes.
She puts the book up. She's gonna put the feather in a safe place, and then she'll rest.
Okay. So, for the benefit of everyone here, there is obviously going to be a long rest involved. I think the next few sessions are going to be downtime sessions and what happens in the 7 days of you all resting, recuperating. So, for anyone who wants it, you can get your long rests in now.
You don't have to ask me twice.
But yeah, basically in the coming sessions, this will be the downtime in this 7 day rest period. Should anyone have anything that they want to do in these 7 days at least, if not, we can always pick things back up a little after. But with that, Vanya, you collapsing for the night. Anybody else doing stuff?
Eventually, when he stops getting teased by Reza and Dorian, he's gonna he's just gonna drag his fucking carcass into the throne room.
Okay. Okay. So, dragging your way towards the Undercroft. What's happening?
I just want to see if Garrett came back. See if he's okay. Garrett!
The throne room door just opens.
It's like for a crawl in. Hello?
Hello, Cypher.
There you are. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. Just got my hopes up.
We'll find a way. To that I give you my word.
I know you will. I just thought as we were in another realm. It would be a quick jump. Just a visit home.
We did learn something, though.
Oh, yes?
She didn't say it was impossible.
No, she just
She
said
didn't-
she couldn't do it.
What more to the fact that she wouldn't do it.
Hmm.
The exact words spoken were, "What you want I cannot give, for the strife incurred of opening that lock, and the capriciousness of the gatekeeper is a trouble I care not to deal with."
So, I think it's closed from the other side, as well as this side, which is why we had trouble sending.
Elias, help him into bed. And you see the quaint blankets already set up in the corner.
The vines wrap around your wrist, around your waist, Cypher, and your feet, and T-posed, you begin to be moved across the room by the vines towards the quaint blanket in the corner.
How dignified.
But gently, though.
Absolutely gently. Yeah, he is supported, but still basically T-posed, carried across the room before being laid to rest on the quaint blanket at the far end.
There. Now you won't be collapsing on the floor.
I think I did exceptionally well to get here all on my own. Thank you very much. I only cut my hand 3 times on phones on the floor.
Anything further from you two that you want to do at this immediate moment in time?
No, Cypher just wanted to comfort Garrett, and then he's just gonna settle in. Because crawling around is just doing more fucking damage to himself. He's just like,
roll me a Constitution saving throw, please, Cypher. Oh, awesome. So, what I'm going to say with that is, in the coming days of downtime, with whatever you do, try and keep in mind that your spine is perhaps very flexible, and with that being a natural one, at some point it may re-break.
okay.
But by the end of the rest, it'll be back to normal. But for the sake of a broken spine, I think that's going to take a while to heal up properly. Garrett, anything further from you?
Satisfied that Cypher's comfortable on the bed. Yeah, we'll just go back to sketching the picture he was working on.
Okay. Dorian, Reza, anything from you two?
You can go ahead, Kelly.
I was gonna say, as the shadowed circle clears out, Reza will get her a picture of her favorite drink from Alistair and head down. And she may have gotten the benefit of a long rest, but she hasn't really rested, so she's just gonna do like a nice bubble bath situation with her favorite drink and just try and relax, and she'd bring Munchie with her so she can, if a bat comes back, hopefully she can stop him from killing it.
Okay. Dorian, anything from you?
Dorian is going to just basically he's going to stop in, visit Sal, make sure that Sal's okay, and then he will head upstairs and sleep in the room that he typically stays in.
All right. As you make your way upstairs, step into the folly, sat at the usual spot in front of the fire is an incredibly flustered looking Falco who has a stack of tomes next to him, scribbling furiously, and as he looks over his shoulder towards the opening door from the kitchen, he's like, oh, you're back! Welcome back. All of the customers look round at Falco's sudden outburst as he just coughs. Welcome back.
Dorian will approach Falco. Just...
Big guy said you disappeared in a puff of smoke, and when a dragonborn showing some forms of concern, then I was starting to think that I might have inherited this place, and can I just say you can fucking keep it? I don't want it, but I'm glad you're back. Everyone is back, right?
Oh yes, everyone.
Oh, good. Oh. Do you want a drink?
I think I'm going to go and crash here soon. Though, I think everyone's going to be resting for the evening.
Right, so any visitors, send them to fuck?
Just, we can have them leave a message, or if it's very important, I'll be up there. And he's going to point up towards the second floor where the room is, and he's going to start trotting.
Oh, and just to let you know in your absence, if you haven't been made aware yet, Dirktown has been wiped off the face of the fucking land. There is nothing there whatsoever.
And he's going to look back at Falco. That's very reassuring that I wasn't just imagining that, then.
Right, because and just as he's about to say something, he looks around at the various people who are gathered and shuts his mouth, nods. All right, well, in that case, Governor, I wish you a pleasant night's rest, and it's good to see you're all back in one piece.
And with that, Dorian's kind of getting the idea everyone around might be looking, so he's just, yes, shame about Dirktown. We'll rebuild again. Bigger, better, anew. And then he's going to pump a fist in there and he's going to go up to his room.
There'll be several mugs clattered on the wood and a chorus calls out from those gathered. And you would probably hear, oh, it's all right, that governor, isn't he? Yeah, I'm sure he could do some. Yeah. Hey, if he gets in with the old top brass, then this place is going to be the new heartstring of the city. Believe you me, this place is going to be the center of the fucking city. But with that, and everyone retiring for the evening after all of that, I personally think that's a pretty good spot for us to put it down for the evening.
Yeah, because you don't want to start anything with this little time to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
tough act to follow as well.
Yeah. Heavy episode. A roller coaster. So yeah, with that, everyone retiring for the evening, getting some much needed rest, soaking the bath, so on and so forth. We'll close it out there for episode 19 of Pariahs, the scouring of Dirktown. Thank you very much for that. That's been 2 sessions of a lot of... 3 sessions now of heavy shit.
Yeah.
Any thoughts from you all? Anything anyone wishes to say?
Never allowed nothing nice.
Wow.
We'll see you next time, chat.
Good night, chat.
Goodbye, chat.
Goodbye.
I'll see you next time on Pariahs.
Boom. And with that, and me muting them up. Oh, everyone, thank you kindly for the support and for tuning in. I hope everyone enjoyed this as much as we did. If you can call that chaos and mayhem enjoyment. I hope so. With that though, let's try and find someone to raid. Really Main, thank you for the follow. Noxious Druid, thank you for the 510 times 2 bits. Coronus, thank you for the Prime resub. Rayvon, thank you for the 100 bits. Deez, thank you for gifting out a sub to Glatis. And Rayvon, thank you for the gifted sub to Ockraven. Callie with the 55-month resub. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I hope that chaos, mayhem, destruction, wrath, ruin was entertaining. Who is streaming? Is the question. Come on, something catch my eye. Where are we going? Where are we going? Let's go show some support to Summoners Network. Let's see what they're up to. So yeah, with that, folks, we will see you hopefully next Sunday for episode 20 of Pariahs. There will be a break from the 40k stuff, but something else may come in the near future, so look forward to that. But apart from that, everyone, thank you once again for the support. I appreciate it, and I'll see you all next weekend for more D&D. Ta-ta for now.